Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks. And this morning we made the bottom of a pineapple, and now we're going to make the top of the pineapple. It's relatively easy. You can do it a couple different ways, but I'm going to use the original pineapple for a kind of like a trace. To kind of get a curved leaf, I'm going to use the 3-point line. And I'm just borrowing this, and I know you might not be able to see this on your video monitor or your TV or your computer, but and when I connect to a node, I know I'm connected. Then we can take the real pineapple, move it out of the way. We got this shape. I'm going to test it with the Smart Fill tool. I drew a triangle in case it leaks, and it doesn't, so we're good. But I'm still going to use that part because it's all connected. I'm going to left click, no fill, right click, outline. I'm going to go to the contour tool and contour it to the, not in yellow, contour it, 0.04, that doesn't really matter. And then there's a couple ways you could do this. I'm going to try it different this time. I'm going to use the Smart Fill tool and fill in the edge. And we're going to see if this is going to work. I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate, and I'm going to flip the duplicate. This is what I wanted to see would work. If right now, if we can virtual segment delete key that, and no, it does not work. So we'll have to go the way I did it originally, to just use the lines. I was hoping that would work, but here we go. We need to break these apart because it's still a contour. You can see right down here, contour in one layer, break it apart, but I still want to group them together, so Control G. Control D and make a duplicate and mirror it the other way. Now you'd almost be smart to figure out right now which one's going to be in front of the leaf, which one's going to be behind. I'm going to take the virtual segment delete key and I'm going to call that one's going to be behind. I'm going to go ahead and delete those little parts of the leaf. Now, this one is still a complete one, the other one's not. So I'm going to hit the plus sign, make a duplicate of it, Control D, and then mirror that and put it up. You know, matter of fact, I'm going to kind of rotate this guy and have him a little further down. Now is when you don't want to move your original or your second one. Now you need to figure out which leaf's going to be in front of which leaf. And I'm going to say that this leaf's going to be behind, so we're going to take our virtual segment delete key and delete those lines. And I'm going to go and try to delete that line inside and that line and that line. And you don't really have to do this, but it'll save you time later. So just remember that we've got that's the real leaf or the solid leaf. We're going to make a duplicate and then move it up. Doing the same thing. Virtual segment delete key. Now, what we need to do before we mess up is Control D and make a duplicate and to keep a real leaf in case we delete the wrong one. And we're going to say this one, yeah, that one's going to be in front of the lower leaf. And if you do this individually leaves, you'll be ahead. You know, if you try doing it later with a bunch of leaves, so let's mirror this guy and put him here. This really doesn't take any time, it just takes some thinking, you know, which leaf is going to be in front of the other leaf. And we're going to say that this leaf, that's going to look funny. But even though that would actually work, but we're going to call that good. You just want to delete these lines. Because you could actually smart fill it in later, but it's going to look funny. Now remember we made a duplicate, but I used it. So don't forget to keep your duplicate. I think this one is still whole, so Control D. And we'll make sure it's right. We'll go and mirror it. We'll give it a little bit of a tilt. And like I said, I don't have any artistic ability. And there's probably a way you could front minus back, once you get them filled in. But you want the contour, because you want to be able to have some space between the leaves. So we're almost done, and hopefully you can do a better job than I am. But I'm just trying to give you the idea. And that probably should take away the other line. I don't really think it matters where the line is going to start. Kind of where the line is going to end up. So let's see how we did. Let's take this and make a boundary. Now we got an outside. And then we can do two things. We can smart fill, nudge it over, smart fill, nudge it over. And you need a few more leaves. But then you can take, if something's wacky like this right here, take the shape tool and just fix it. Move it out of the way, make it your pineapple. We can delete that. That doesn't look half bad. Now you can take your contour, and you can see it's a hairline. Double click on your pen tool, change it to half a point, make it black. And we actually need to make it a little bit thicker. Let's go 1.5 points. That's pretty good. Scale it to object just in case you're going to change it. And where is my finished pineapple? There's the bottom. Whoop. Probably need to zoom in here and grab the whole pineapple. And I didn't get the top. Yeah, we need more leaves on top, but to save time on the video, I think it's good enough. If you ever need to move anything, just make your nudge factor lower and bring it down. You can bring it down a lot easier. So a couple more leaves and you'd be done. Now you do have some lines maybe down in here. Very easily, if you watch above the top, you don't want to do the fill because the fill will erase the color in the top. But you can take this and just, as long as you're putting it behind the other black, you're not going to be able to see it, not going to be able to see it. We probably delete those and just bring these up and get rid of those little bitty notches if you want perfection. Just move these nodes out of the way or delete them entirely. But I think that looks pretty good. And hope that helped. Thank you for watching.